Hey there everyone. So this time around I'll be reviewing a book called Ronin. So this is the absolute version of Ronin, and it's a very interesting book by Frank Miller. If you are into graphic novels, I'm pretty sure you've heard about it. But even if you haven't, I would cover the story in very basics, and then I'll move on to how this edition looks like. So, if you have seen absolute editions, they are gorgeous and they're hardcovers, and they contain quite a bit of extra material as compared to the normal TPBs or even normal hardcover collections. So this is the Absolute Ronin. It's by Frank Miller. I'll uh, I'll go through the blurb shortly. So this is what it looks like beneath the dust jacket. So it's a one single picture throughout. So a Ronin is a masterless samurai in medieval Japan, and this is what it says. So in the distant past, a great lord of feudal Japan is struck down by an entity of pure evil. A young warrior sown to vengeance becomes a masterless samurai, a Ronin wandering space and time in an eternal struggle with the demon who killed its master. It is the near future. A great corporation in the urban jungle of New York City is ready to unleash a deadly new technology. A giant-like telepath and a tough-as-nails security commander are the only people standing in its way. When these two worlds collide, the time of the Ronin begins once more, and then it goes on to how Ronin is so good and so on. So, if you have seen the cartoon called Samurai Jack, somewhat a similar premise, but the execution is totally different. The storyline is completely different, and Ronin is a very interesting story. So there have been people. So let's just cover this part, the beginning. So there have been people who have said that the Absolute Edition is not good because Ronin's artwork falls short on such a big page. It was not made for such a big page, and the artwork has not been retouched for this format. In a sense, it is true, because as you can see, the artwork is not very polished, and in these parts, for example, you'll notice that the grain comes through. But then I feel that this texture brings out a different aspect to the artwork, and I think it's beautiful, but that's upon personal prejudices and variations and your own perceptions. And as you can see, there are wide two-page spreads throughout the book. So this is one, and this is a part. This is the future part. Let's go on to the. So here is the Japanese part, feudal Japan. So a very interesting collection, considering the fact that Frank Miller has worked on very different kinds of work later on, and I particularly find the story of Ronin very interesting. I love the story, but then, as I said, it might be up to personal preferences. It's a story combining science fiction and magic, and then a bit of philosophy and sword riding samurai in the distant future. So as you can see here, the artwork is fairly different from what Miller has done later on in his career, but it brings out a very different perspective of his work. So as you can see, I do not think the grain is coming out very well. So here it's a very rough kind of white paint. So yeah, So that aesthetics is preserved very nicely in this book. And then it goes on, and after the finish, Ronin Gallery, this says Ronin Gallery here, and then it goes on. So lots of 2-page spreads and so on, raw pages on how it was drawn, extra artwork. Overall a very nice buy, and for me I got it second hand, so I got it for almost half off. For that price I think it was definitely a great buy. And that's it, Absolute Ronin for you. This is the slipcase, Absolute Ronin. Yeah, that's it. Happy reading.